Sairam students. In this session of English literature, we are going to learn a poem, Wind, written by Subramanya Bharati. Subramanya Bharati is a Tamil poet. However, this poem has been translated from Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan. A.K. Ramanujan is a Kannada and English poet. He is very well known for his translation of classical and English poetry. Let me tell you something about Subramanya Bharati. Subramanya Bharati, also known as father of modern Tamil literature. He was born on 11 December 1882 at Itayapuram, whereas he died on 12 September 1921 in Chennai. His full name was Chinnaswamy Subramanya Bharati. Now, let me tell you about his work. Chinnaswamy Subramanya Bharati, also known as Bharatiyar, was a Tamil writer, poet, journalist, Indian independence activist, a social reformer, and a polyglot. A polyglot is a person who knows various languages. He was popularly known as Mahakavi Bharati. He was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry and is considered one of the greatest Tamil literary figures of all time. So, he is a great poet, and now we are going to learn one of his writings. Now, let me tell you the central idea of this poem before we go ahead with the poem. The poem, Wind. See, we all know that wind is a very powerful natural phenomena. The poet in this poem depicts the enormous, utterly enormous power of wind. Okay, the power of wind in the world. We all know that wind has the potential of being both a destroyer and a creator. The weak and fragile. Fragile means those who are, fragile, something that is delicate, something that can be destroyed easily. Okay, fragile that cannot withstand its fury, its anger, while the strong can use it to their advantage. The same is true of the adversities of life. The problems, the unpleasant situations of life is known as adversity. Those who are weak easily break down, and those who are strong take them in their stride. Stride, you take a one long step and you have covered it and come out stronger. Therefore, our attitude to life and its trials and tribulations, all the troubles and all the events that come in our life, that determines our response to them. Okay, so this wind, this poem here, the poet gives a strong message to us that those who are weak, who cannot withstand the problematic situations, they will crumble down, whereas the one who are stronger will take it as an opportunity and emerge a more stronger personality. Okay, so let me tell you something about the title of this poem. The word wind, without the definite article the, refers only to the natural phenomenon called wind that can be good and evil, constructive and destructive, depending on the circumstances and the attitude of people. There are at least 4 different facets of wind as presented in this poem. Okay, so there is step-by-step explanation how wind is depicted as a naughty child in the initial lines, and then a raging destructive youth, a very helpful friend, and then a powerful God who can be both creator and destroyer. So the one word title presents the entire persona of the natural force called wind, who has enjoyed the status of God in many cultures, including the Tamil culture and mythology. Thus, the title is very appropriate. So, students, with on this note, let us start with our poem Wind, written by Subramanya Bharati. I'll read out the poem for you and then I'll explain with the first four lines. The wind blows strongly and causes a lot of destruction. How can we make friends with it? Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So, come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this, and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Translated by Written by Subramanya Bharati, translated from the Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan. Now, as I already gave you introduction about our writer Subramanya Bharati, he is a great Tamil poet, famous for his patriotism also in the pre-independence era. And as it's translated by A.K. Ramanujan, who is a famous Kannada and English poet, well known for his translation of classical and modern poetry. Now, this poem Wind, as I always say in our English literature lecture, that you can download the NCRT text from the internet. Okay, and you can go through this poem. And I hope you are having a paper and a pen so that you write down the meaning of new words and the difficult words that we come across in this poem. So let us start, students. Let me give you the explanation. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the window. Shutters of the window? The outside frame of the window, which acts as a protecting agent and that protects us from the light and wind and other forces that try to enter our house. So the shutters are like the outside, it's the outside frame that acts as a protecting agent. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. So the poet is talking to the wind. He asked the wind to come softly. So he's saying that the wind should not come in a powerful way. How it should come? It should come in a soft and subtle way, not in a strong and loud manner. Then he says that the wind is very powerful. How does it show its power? By breaking the shutters of the window. And also the wind scatters the papers all around. Wind also shows its power by throwing down the books that have been kept neatly or that had been arranged on the shelf. So when the wind is very powerful, it brings down the books from the shelf down. So here the poet is describing the power of the wind. Then he says that the wind, it acts in a destruction way. Whenever there is a strong wind, all the things that are weak, like small plants, even small children, everyone gets scared and they can even fall and get hurt. Okay, so we can say that in the initial part of the poem, the poet is referring to the wind as a young child. He's saying that it should come softly. just like a small child does. It shouldn't be loud. It shouldn't show its strong nature. Because if it acts like if it becomes powerful, it shows its power, it becomes destructive, just like a youth. So, just like a young boy or girl who is full of energy, violence, and destruction, the wind depicts its nature. Let us move ahead. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You're very clever at poking fun at weaklings. So, here, what the poet says? The poet says that, look what you have done. Now, whom is he talking to? He is talking to the wind. He is asking the wind to look at the destructions that it has caused. Okay, it has brought down all the things. It had torn the pages of the books. And the rain, a strong, a strong and a powerful rain also follows along with the wind. So you have brought rain again. And you're very clever. The wind is in the wind is referred to be a clever thing. It's very good at poking fun at weaklings, poking fun, making fun of youths, making fun of weak things, not the youth. So here, the poet overall, if we see, the poet tells us that the wind is a very powerful element of nature. It is very destructive, and by using its destructive power, it can bring down all the weak things. Right, so the poet is also giving an important message here that all the weak things on earth can be easily broken down, can be easily destroyed by the powerful nature of wind. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters. Frail means weak. Crumbling, that cause something to break, that falling, that can be easily brought down into pieces. Rafters, crumbling rafters. Rafters, those beams that acts like a support, like a support to the roof of a building. Okay, they are known as rafters. They are the beams that act as a support to the roof of the building. Crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. So here the poet, he's using this word crumbling repeatedly. Why do you think so? He's using this word repeatedly to lay stress that everything crumbles, everything comes, everything breaks into pieces in the face of this strong wind. So the writer is saying that when wind is very powerful, when it is very strong, it leads to breakage of everything. Houses which are weak, doors which are weak, the rafters, even the rafters, these beams which are supporting these strong buildings, even they come down. And not only these rafters, it breaks the wood, all the wooden structures, bodies of animals, of human lives, hearts, everything crumbles in the face of wind. So everything that is weak reacts by falling down. And this, this breaking is in the face of adversity. In such unpleasant situation, these weak things fall apart. So the poet is saying that whenever a weak person faces any kind of adversity, any kind of unpleasant situation, he easily gives up. Okay, he easily breaks down and falls. I hope students you understood the first 4 lines. And now the last line. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Let me tell you what does the process of winnowing means. Okay, look at this picture. Okay, the ladies over here are separating the chaff from the grain. Okay, separate grain from husk by blowing it. That is known as winnow. So here, to break the grain from the chaff. Now the wind god winnows and crushes them all. The poet is addressing the wind as God, wind god. Okay, he is almost placing the wind on a pedestal and he is addressing it as a powerful god. That means that the wind can easily make the weak people fall down and get crushed. So here a comparison is done. Okay, a comparison is made between whom? Between wheat and people. So just like just like we winnow the wheat and take the chaff, the husk. Okay, we take the chaff away from the grain. Similarly, the wind god separates the strong people from the weak people. So when there is a strong wind, all the weak things will get crushed and fall apart. I hope students you are understanding. I'm going really slow so that you understand each and every line properly. Moving ahead, the next lines. Here the next stanza says, he won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the firm's doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. Now here, very interesting lines. The poet wants us to be friend, to make friends with the wind. First of all, the adversities of life that we have to face, with all that strong mind, physically strong and mentally tough mind, we have to face the uh, powerful nature of wind. In this line, what the poet tells us is we need to, the adversities that come in our life, we have to face them in a strong way. He says that the problems will not listen to us. The wind here is considered to be one of the adversities that come in our life. He won't do what you tell him. So what it means? That the problems will not listen to us. They will come. Anytime they will come. What we have to do? We should be prepared to face them. In preparation, what we have to do? We should build strong homes. We should join the doors firmly. When we are joining the doors firmly, we uh, we won't allow the wind to get into our house. We won't allow the problems to enter our house, enter our premises. And then he says that we should make our body stronger. We need to become physically strong, mentally tough, so that we are able to face these challenges of life. We need to make our hearts firm, steadfast. Steadfast means we need to make our hearts firm. We need not become weak when we face any kind of problems or unpleasant situations in life. And then once again, if we are strong enough, what will happen? All the challenges will become our friends. They will be like our friends. And we will not feel that they are troublesome. Alright. So once we become friends to these problems, the wind is referred here. The wind is referred as a unpleasant situation of our life. Okay, it's considered to be the adversity that comes in our life. So once we become strong, what will happen? We will not feel that they are troublesome. So moving ahead, the wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. So now the poet has, as I mentioned earlier, he has kept the wind on a pedestal by comparing the wind to God. He says that wind is God and we praise wind every day. Okay, just like we pray to God regularly, every day we pray to God. Okay, so similarly, wind. Okay, wind is referred as God compared to God. He says that wind is God and we praise wind every day. He adds that everything that is weak gets finished off in the face of a strong wind. Whereas all the things that are strong will flourish, will grow, will become successful, and they will become stronger and stronger. He is giving us a very important message here. The poet, what he wants to give, what he wants us to understand is that we should not feel bad or we should not feel weak whenever we are facing the challenges in life, challenges or any adversities in life. we should make ourselves physically and mentally strong so that we face these challenges. And once we have done that, you know what will happen? Once we have made ourselves strong enough, we will overcome the challenges of life. We will become friends with the challenges itself. And then we will be happy. Okay, why we will be happy? Because we had these challenges. We'll be happy that we had these challenges in our life because they will help us become more stronger and better, right? So adversities are necessary so that we emerge as a stronger personality. That's a very strong message that the poet gives us in this poem. Now students, I hope you are able to understand, you understood this poem really well and the important message that the poet gives to us. What is the message or the moral of this poem? See, the poem, it carries the message that one must develop mental toughness and physical strength in order to survive the hardships of life. If a person is feeble, if a person is weak, he will break down. Just as the weak buildings crumble down in the harsh windstorms, similarly a person will break down. Therefore, destructive forces should be turned into good friends with strength and determination. This is the message, the moral given to us by the poet. Now, students, there are many literary devices that we come across. Let me tell you a few of them. Personification. I know we have been reading, we have been learning this literary device since ages. So personification is a literary device in which the poet associates human attributes with some abstract idea or an inanimate object or a natural phenomena. Now in the poem, there is an example given over here. You tore the pages of the books. Here, the pronoun you refers to the wind, an element of nature. The wind is addressed as if it were a person. Okay, do you really think wind can tear the pages? Okay, it doesn't have hands like humans. Okay, so a non-living thing is given a, what is it given? It's given, it is addressed as if it were a person. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. This is another example. The possessive pronoun he has been used to refer to the wind god, who is presented as a man, as a human being with tremendous power and force that can be both destructive and productive. So here, he, which is a pronoun usually referred to a man, has been given to wind. Metaphor. Now, metaphor is a figure of speech that describes an object or action in a way that it is not literally true but helps explain an idea or makes a comparison in an indirect way. So let me show you an example here. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. The wind has been presented as very clever and powerful being who terrifies and laughs at the weak and helpless. There is one more metaphor over here. You tore the pages of the books. The action of the wind has been described as a mischievous act of a naughty child who makes a mess of everything in his or her playful but destructive way. Okay, so there is an indirect comparison. Another figure of speech that we come across is anaphora. It is a poetic device in which a word or group of words is used repeatedly, to lay stress on a particular thing, to create a special effect or to emphasize something. This poetic device is used. Now we have come across this example. Don't break the shutters of the windows, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. You see, the imperative structure beginning with don't is repeated at the beginning of 3 consecutive lines. So this clearly shows the speaker is trying to give a strong appeal. He's showing these lines show the speaker's strong appeal to the wind not to do certain things. There is one more example here. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Okay, these lines from the poem Okay, here the word crumbling is repeated a number of times to show the extent of damage, the amount of damage that can be caused by a stormy wind. Now we are done with the literary devices. We have come across personification, metaphor, as well as anaphora. So all these literary devices are part of our poem. I have also shown you the lines, okay, which reflect the literary devices. The rhyme scheme. This poem, since it's a translation from the original Tamil version, it does not follow a rhyme scheme. So we do not have a rhyme scheme in this poem. The next is value points. Yes, let me tell you value points in this poem. Now, since you've understood the poem well, we will go through this value points quickly. See, in this poem, we understand that we need to become strong in mind and body. The wind indicates the difficulties and challenges that we face in our life, the hardships that we come across. We should face our problems boldly and stay firm in difficult situations. See, children, problems will definitely come in life. What we have to do is be prepared. Our preparation should be strong so that we can face any kind of challenges in life. We should face our problems boldly and stay firm. We should prepare ourselves in such a way that our heart is firm. Unless we fight with our hardships, we cannot expect success in life. Okay, so this is the main message, or the value points that we learn out of this poem. Also, it actually helps us in using it, we can say, imbibing it in our day-to-day life. So this way we come to an end of this session. I hope, students, you understood the poem well. We have covered the literary devices, the value points, as well as the moral. Now you need to click on the link below so that you can go through the home assignment, and I'm sure, like good students, you will definitely complete the home assignment. Thank you so much for your time.